Summer, episode 3. Now, in the last episode, we took a tour around camp with Slav, I think it's Slavia? Yeah, Slavia. And we met a few people, and now we're continuing. So, let's just dive right in. A lazy evening. There's nothing like a good time with nothing to do. I headed towards Olga's cabin. The light in the house was on. Hello, Simon. You're quite late. Yeah. I went for a walk to look around the camp. All right. You will be sleeping here. She pointed her finger at one of the beds. Right here? I was a bit surprised. Yeah, is something wrong? You're out of free cabins anyway. Camp leader smiled, but I think it was just out of politeness. You do want to be a decent pioneer, don't you? There's clear emphasis on the word decent. Yep, sure. I was lost in thought for a moment. Don't you mind it, mademoiselle? She looked at me oddly, with surprise and some offense in her eyes. A pioneer should respect their elders, Olga said strictly. Of course, he should. No one argues with that. I blathered, not realizing what was wrong. Shouldn't you also? She stared at me. Under such a gaze, even Mithra forged by the best dwarf masters in the deepest of dungeons would melt. She angry. Should I what? What's up, toots? Annoying and lack of understanding made me raise my voice. You must address adults appropriately. Yes, of course there are a lot of strange things here. This girl is just a couple years older than me. Maybe even younger. Decided not to argue, but a few minutes ago I never would have called her a dote. I have to admit she was also giving a strong character. And in any case, I wasn't in a position to argue. As you say, ma'am, I mumbled. That's much better. That is how a decent pioneer should conduct himself. And now it's time to sleep. Honestly speaking, I was going to become neither a decent nor indecent pioneer. Just yesterday I wasn't going to become a pioneer at all. Do I have a choice now? If you don't want to, we'll have to make you. This is the motto Olga Dmitrievna was probably going to use. I climbed out of bed and closed my eyes to realize how tired I was after today. Something hammered in my head awfully, as if my brain had started the night shift. They seemed to be aimed more at rolling steel than working on something more sensitive. The bus flew through my mind. The square with the monument, the canteen full of pioneers, and the malicious face of Yolanya. Slavia. Lena. And even recalling Elisa didn't give me too much of a negative feeling. What if I'm here for good? Day 2. I was having a dream. It seemed like some kind of vacuum, with nothing but nothing around me. But not only around, I was the only creature in the universe, as if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang, and something was just about to happen. Suddenly I heard a voice. Could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently as if soothing me. Then I realized it was the voice of that strange girl from the bus, the girl from the dream. It was trying to tell me, who is she? I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation. Not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep in here just like that. And before that, I chatted nicely with local pioneers and even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, avoid all contact with potentially hostile creatures. Last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, and absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning. A grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be placed except for a pioneer uniform, which is hanging from the bedhead. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself. I bet I look like a clown. For that, I needed a mirror. At least a tiny one. Finally found one on the wardrobe door. Holy. I looked at the newfound pioneer uniform and jumped away in surprise. There's some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Yeah. Because when... Alright, so, when we got on the bus originally, there was a scene, and it was a whole different art style, by the way. Our character looked kind of older. He looked like in his... Well, he was... He was like in his mid-20s. Well, he completed college, so I would assume like he's around 30 years old. This dude looks like he's about 18 or 20 something. 18 to 20. So, we must have either gone back in time, gone to a different world. Maybe it's an isekai, I don't freaking know. Where did the weak stubble go? And where the bags under my eyes, the slouch, and deathly fatigue on my face? Seemed like I had not only been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. Took a closer look at the stranger and then only realized that it was actually me. It wasn't just today's me. Maybe the one from between my middle school and university years. No, not middle school. The one between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go. The person in extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. So yeah, he is like 18 to 20 something. Now, at least. But the camp leader noticed it. Last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, that was kind of weird. Ah, screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. The clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. Worked out yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? His memories made me smile involuntarily. The smile was shining brightly outside. A light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished in the clouds that were white as snow. Olga came out of nowhere. Good morning, Simon. She has a little hat on. Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was good, indeed good. You arrived only yesterday, so I decided not to wake you, but breakfast? Never mind. Here, take this. She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Wait a second. Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came to shove a small bag in my hands. Inside I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. Pioneers should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly this time. Yours is askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how. Do we have to... I'm going to wash myself now. Wait, what did it say? Do we have to? I'm going to... Yeah. Yeah, right. You could get hooked on the tap and strangle me. Fine. Later, then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird. By my approximation, it should have been Saturday. Then again, the shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today. We were having at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. Right, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. Headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps with a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was some minimal level of habitual comfort in which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often that when you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. Ah, screw this. As if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. Washing my hands was not an issue. Washing my face and mouth became a big problem. There's no toothpaste in the bag which Ultra Dimitrieva gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but it was a small round box wrapped in the towel. Tooth powder. Cute. 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly. Also due to the ice cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. Slavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform bikini, maybe probably in a spacesuit. Dude, alright, editor. Put the Among Us character, the Among Us red character PNG over her, and say, and put on the screen when the imposter is sus. I think that would be really funny. When the imposter is sus, I think that would be really funny. Hey there. Hi, I mean, what's... good morning, yeah. Oh, that was great. I like that. Oh, yeah, real smooth. Why didn't you come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if I was proud of it. But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great. Then don't forget about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right. I gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like it's a couple minutes into the lineup. I should probably quickly pass by my home to drop off some of my washing bag and eat the sandwiches. Then head over to the square. Swung open the door to the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside, as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. It didn't turn out to be the best idea, because it's it was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Simon! I looked away immediately. Have you heard of knocking? No, get out. Gonna cry. That was great. That was funny. Yeah, that was real clumsy. Well, did enjoy the sign. Oh, good to meet you, Dave. Follow me up in a minute. Here, take this. Now it is your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course. If you disregard how fantastical the current events are, this camp was far from being the worst place on earth. But to call it home, just after 1 day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go. We're late. What about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. Passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrieva kept talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. Jesus. But I cared nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening. Sorry. Today's your first day of your new life as a pioneer, and you should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Ah, yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties, great responsibilities conferred onto him. To participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. And we here are all one big family, and you will become part of it. Yeah, part. Even like to sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll be able to keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? Seems like I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday. Seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. If it isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, this situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? Bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you now is to make the best time you will spend here. The best of time you will spend here. I will do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It'd be good to know where that here is, but we came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What, is somebody not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at her brave pioneer troops. Alright, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why would she tell me to stand? Why did she tell me there was no more sleeping places? What? While the chief was running her mouth about our plans, I stared at the people. A few heads away from me stood Electronic. A little further, Lena, Slavia at the end of the line, Ilania and Lisa. Wait a second. Alright, so there's Selena, Slavia. There's another character. Everyone I had met is there. Olga Dmitrieva talk about. Who is she? Oh, she's crying. Olga Dmitrievna spoke about some competitions, and I turned my head to the monument. Jinda. Could not remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture too, as if he was looking around with distrust, maybe contempt, or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Slavia brought me back to reality. Olga Dmitrievna stood nearby. Still remember the plan for the week? The plan? I will never forget the plan. Perfect. She looked at Slavia. Did you bring it? Yes. Slavia handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist. Here are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There are some clubs in the clubhouse and a musical club in a separate building. Then visit the infirmary. And finally, visit the library. Got it? Yes. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something, since I had to go to places I hadn't been before. Then come on, start right now. What about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you some more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck. We departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast, now I'll miss lunch too. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in time somehow? Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, if I go there, I might miss the place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. There's a map? Hold up. Now you got me even more interested. Alright, so music club. There's the clubhouse. There's the club. Right. Clubhouse. Clubhouse and clubhouse. A music club, library, infirmary. So we'll go to the clubhouses first. I went to the clubhouse. To the truth, I've never liked extracurricular activities. At school, I used to find an excuse to skip extra classes. At university, I had no interest in participating in the student council. I wasn't interested in boxing, aerial modeling, or sewing. So I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. If found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. I heard voices from the other room, and then two pioneers appeared. It was electronic, and the other I don't know. Hi, Simon. We've been expecting you. Seems like he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me? Well, of course, because you came to sign it into our cybernetics club, didn't you? He didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik. He's in charge here. I assume there's only 2 of you in the club? Well, you can say that it's 3 now. Shurik came up to me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar. Welcome to the club. Yep. Now, wait, wrong guy. Now, I'll show you around. Make yourself at home. Guys, I just wanted to... We're always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union started playing in my head. It's amazing. I even remember the words. The first grade I had a textbook with the lyrics on the back. No, I just wanted you to sign my checklist. Yep. You sign up in the club, we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. I was getting ready for a long and boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia. Ah, Simon. Hope they're not giving you any trouble. She narrowed her eyes and looking at the future of Motherland's robotics industry. I know these two. They can. Well, I just need to get my checklist signed. Decided to take advantage of the situation. No problem. Give it to me. Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik. Sign it. Hold on. We're not done yet. You're done. Sign it now. She gave Shurik such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist, and I thanked Slavia and moved on in a mellow mood. Yeah, I want to join the clubhouse. I want to join the club. Yeah, alright. We'll go to the music club, because it's closest. The music club. A small, one-level building. It's located in the distance of the other camp's buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. Excuse me. There are enough instruments for a whole orchestra in here. Drums, guitars, even piano. No, there ain't. There ain't enough for a whole orchestra. I think you mean a whole band, but whatever. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period where they were from, but then I suddenly heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. A girl. Seems like she was looking for something. She was standing at all floors in a suggestion that I hesitated to speak. Excuse me. Ah, who's there? She tried to stand up at the bottom of the piano, preventing her from doing so. Ouch. She struggled out. Sorry, I scared you. Oh, it's nothing. You got a checklist. You must be new here? Ah, yes. My name is Miku. So it really is Miku. Hatsune Miku. Let's go. No, really, I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother is Japanese. My dad met her when he was building, well, it wasn't really him who was building. He's an engineer. He was working on a nuclear power plant there. Or a dam. Or a bridge. Whatever. She was talking so fast, she swallowed half her words that she tried to pronounce. I'm Simon. Great, want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but it will be 2 of us then. Do you want to play anything? When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords. But then I forgot about it, since I quit everything that required more than a couple hours to learn. I wasn't planning to do anything like that, really. Oh, it's okay, I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example? How about a violin? I know it all, honestly. There's no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now? Yes, give it to me. But be sure to come around. I'll sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs. Or maybe if you're not into that, something more contemporary. Sure, thanks. I gotta go now. Oh, of course. Come anytime. So we just... The end of our sentence stayed inside. It'd be nice to hang around with a guitar and everything, but in such company, I turned, leave, and came face to face with Elisa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist. Got it signed? Yes. Then move it! Elisa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. Oh, it tells you where everyone is! Someone with a bag on his head? Huh. Alright, so infirmary next. What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health is fine. The fresh local air did me some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit. I entered. Common infirmary, like my school doctor's room. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed at me intently, assessing me while continuing to write something. Well, hello, Pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good evening, ma'am. Afternoon, ma'am. I have something. Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch. I sat down. She said all of it with an even tone. What for? To inspect, to escalate, to check on your health, you know. By the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola. She turned to me. What are you waiting for? I got no health issues. I neatly gave her the paper. Later. She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeing like she intended to probe me with it. But someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly. Come in. In a moment, the door opened wisely and an electronic rushed inside. Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course, but I'm okay. But I'm Olga Dmitrievna. There was a massive bruise under electronic's eye. Oh, yeah. There's that. Also, she has 2 different color eyes. Doubt this could be a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look, she said to him. No, with no punctuation. And you, pass me your checklist. The nurse quickly signed and continued. If something hurts, come to me immediately, Pioneer. I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. That nurse surely is something else. Library. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in a library under current circumstances was well beyond my scope, so I'd better hurry up with this checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory of my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at a library with my mother. While she's looking around through the books that I need for my studies, I'm sitting in a corner looking through the collection of comic books. Back then I didn't know why they had so many, or why I couldn't take some with me. The notion of collective property was something that my mind hadn't grasped yet at the age. However, back then the concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place and the shelves were full of related literature. Yeah, certainly looks like it. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend too much time looking for her. Oh, that was the girl that was in the line. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I just couldn't wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake me in a half hour, then... Just couldn't sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. Arthur's Schopenhauer, The World as Will and Representation. I opened it roughly and in the middle started reading. The life of man, with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering, is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase with the procreative act, i.e., the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of his debt. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we always exist. From time to time paying death for our birth, we always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither can both pass us without some effect that is a result of our stated will to live. Thus, the fear of death, in which spite of all the miseries of life, holds us firmly to it, is really elusive. But just as elusive as the impulse of which has attracted us into it. This attraction may be seen objectively as the mutual longing gazes of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live, in its affirmation, how gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness and quiet pleasure and mild joys for itself, for others, for all. Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. It was Lena. Oh. Hi. I smiled. Hey, I just wanted to return a book. She had the copy of Gone with the Wind that I saw yesterday. Oh, Xania's sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. I turned around and was surprised to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. Is that what you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that wanted me to keep quiet. Lena came up to her to return her book and thanked Xania and went out. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Olga, give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin reading a book. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she is planning to turn me into. I wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Eulania, and getting involved in my moral crap. Getting involved into my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here, I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without looking at the signatures. Great, I could have signed it myself without going anywhere. Perfect. Did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason, her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club have you signed up for? I didn't. I need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign somewhere tomorrow. Of course, sure. Right, it's time to go to dinner. About time. I was getting hungry. Headed to the canteen together with Olga. Looked at the sky and noticed that the sun was already setting. The porch stood Lisa, Electronic, Yelania, and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about. And never call me Divachi again, or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that. You're hearing things. He did. I heard it all. You weren't even there. I was in the bushes. Come on, you guys, stop it. So it wasn't a football injury Electronics suffered earlier today. Nurse did a good job. I can't even see his black eye. Olga Dmitrievna came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Lisa and Cheesekov. I didn't do anything. She shrugged with antipathy. I don't know. And went inside. Right. Dinner time. I entered last. There wasn't too many free seats. There were a few chairs near Lisa across the canteen, but I'd rather soon starve than risk my head near her. This was a seat near Yelania, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever calls sorry, I can't talk right now. Cuisine! Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I have to pick my poison. Mind if I sit here? Oh, sure. No, I don't mind. Yes, you could sit here. I sat down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat and chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, it's not that I don't like it. But if you had asked me what I'd rather prefer, stroganoff beef or ragout, or maybe just hamburger or rump beef, do you like rump steak? I'm not that picky about my food. And it's the simple truth. 48 kopecks. Leningradsko ice cream brand. Oh, it's ice cream. Is that so? But the desserts, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I love 48 kopecks and Leningradsko. Oh, sorry, I keep talking about myself. Maybe you like Eskimo better? Dinner was starting to get on my nerves, thanks to such company. I'm not that kind of person that can just ignore someone who's talking to them. Even her. We're at the same table after all. I once bought a waffle cone and started eating. And then you know what? I found a screw in there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those that you tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are those we turn with a wrench, right? If there was a speeding contest going on, I'd probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. I went outside and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I just sat there and watched night falling. Everything is so lively here during the day. Kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling and running around, constant chatter, games going on, swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of day were swapped for silence, only now and then broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you could see things, maybe a ghost, or a spirit of the forest, or a wild animal. A human would be the last thing to expect. That's how it that's how it looked like last night. And now, the locals followed their routine very strictly. In the day, the camp was theirs. In the night, it belonged more to the forces of nature, to humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was electronic. Let's go play cards. Cards? Yep, I invented a new game. A good one. Good, like how? Well, first we gotta find the cards, then I'll tell you. Then go find them, what's the problem? Only Olga Dmitrievna has them, and she won't give it to me. Why so? Well, the last time when Olga Dmitrievna and Slavia came out to the porch. Olga Dmitrievna, someone wanted to ask you about the possibility of getting playing cards. Actually, for what purpose? We invented a new game. Not we, you did. What game? I need the cards to show you. I don't like this. Well, if Simon is with you, then perhaps it's okay. To be really honest, we'll go fetch them together, Olga Dmitrievna. Yeah, I'll go get the cards, Slavia, if you don't mind. Sure, let's go. We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped. Hey, I just remembered the cards are in my cabin. Good timing. And where's that? It's just down this road. Let's go. We reached the cabin. That, in fact, looked more like a trailer. Just wait a minute. I'll be back. Took her a few seconds to come back. There. She showed me a deck of pretty worn out cards. These must be marked in and out. That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play? Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules. Shall we go? Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something else. How long have you been here? In this camp? About a week. I see. And where do you come from? I'm from the north. That is the cold north. She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. Tried to approach from another angle. And what do you like? What do you mean? Well, your hobbies? Oh, I like nature. Strange, she's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature, I see. When it comes to natural historian? More like normal historian. I was always interested in our nation's history. That would suit her well indeed. It appeared that among all the locals, she was the only one who had nothing to hide. If she just came here like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell. Tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp? I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me from their work. Another failure. Well, if you could choose. It's nice here. I don't think I would choose some other place if I could. It's like here it's like you're becoming another person. That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean, another person? It's just that there's so many possibilities. You can learn so much. Meet so many new, interesting people here. Now she started to sound like our chief, which raised a red flag to me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Olga Dmitrievna told Slavia, I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good. Slavia and Olga went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Elisa. Her gaze sent a shiver down my spine. Not a nice one. You want something? I asked carefully. You gonna play this stupid game? Yes. Is there something wrong with that? Nope, nothing. She turned to leave, but then slowly turned back and smiled. So you play cards? A little. Couldn't figure out what she wanted. So only Durak, and that's it? As if you were a poker store. Well, yes, technically. Then you don't have a chance. Why? Because. So you know the rules. Of course. Then you'll have the upper hand. Couldn't see why we would go on talking and motion towards the door. Why do you keep trying to leave? Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Let's make a bet. What do you mean? You're such a slowpoke. The cards, what else? And what do you want to bet on? That I'll win. That's quite a possible outcome. I agreed calmly. So, are you afraid? No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets when I don't like my chances. And you're not big on taking risk, too. Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right then, No, you're not. Now what? You're starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about some pointless bet. If you won't bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me. What? You heard me. I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? I've been here for less than 2 days. Besides, you want to try your luck? Right. And what will happen if I win? I won't tell anyone anything. And if I lose? Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I already told you already. So you're telling me that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something when I actually didn't do it? If that's how you want to look at it. Not a simple decision. On one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. And again, can I even trust her? She can do it even if I win. So have you made a decision? I was going to answer, but suddenly Lena came around from behind. What? Nothing. Lena hurried inside. So? I want to play the game of risk. We're betting. I may regret it 100 times. Fine, I'll do it. She smiled. But if I win? Yeah, all fair, no cheating. Elisa turned, went up the stairs, and inside the canteen. Why am I doing this? Because she can set me up regardless, even if she wants to? She decided to anyways. With a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. A few pioneers stood there, chatting. The tables were moved out of the way to make room for players and spectators. I looked around. Something was going on in the far corner. When I came closer, I saw a big piece of paper with a diagram on it. My name was among the players. Oh boy. We're going up against her. And who came up with all of this? Pat Electronic, who was standing near. Well, of course, it was your most humble servant. He bowed to me jokingly. This made me uncomfortable to the point of squirming. And why in the world am I among the players then? I was disappointed. A few seconds ago, I thought I had the slim chance to evade this tournament. Then I wouldn't have to feel Lisa's revenge for losing the bet with her. But that hope was gone. It was pure coincidence. Yeah, right, coincidence. Except that I was already acquainted with every one of the contestants. Well, there was a few dozen other pioneers standing in the room. I was seized by anxiety. It's the feeling of being watched while standing in an empty room with no windows or doors. Will there be a prize? I asked him lazily. I wanted to distract myself with a pointless conversation. Electronic was just about to answer, and Yolanda came out of nowhere and started jumping around him. Prizes! Prizes! I heard something about prizes. It's not boring, but do you know the main ethos of the Olympic Games? What? No. You'll understand when you grow up. She made a wry face and jabbed Electronic at the ribs. So what about the prize? Well, I don't know. It's not up to me. He made a helpless gesture. Really, if they came up with a stupid game, they should at least give the winner a chocolate medal or something. Lanya suddenly jumped and raced off to somewhere. Wish I was that optimistic. So, what about the rules? Wait a bit. Not everyone is here yet. I looked around the canteen. Elisa, Slavia, Lena, Miku, and Shirak were here. Seems like everyone is here. Not everyone. Xenia isn't here. Does he feel uneasy? Or is it just me? Just hurt myself. She's not here, so what? Pick someone else instead. No, I can't do that. He answers slowly. I decided to not ask exactly why he can't do this. We'll go fetch her or something, I don't know. He can't go. He's the host of the event. The camp leader appeared as if from nowhere. But Olga... Electronic whined. Simon will go. Right, Simon? She looked at me and smiled. Of course, who else? Where is she? In the library, I guess. Okay. Dragged my feet towards the door. Please hurry. What's Electronic's problem anyway? Night is coming soon. I was going to take my time, so I slowly paced towards the library. Then I found Xenia before I even expected. She was sitting on a bench at the square, staring at Genda, who was silent as always. What are you doing here? Everyone's looking for you. Sitting here, as you can see. She frowned. Well, let's go. I don't want to. She looked away. Why not? I don't want to. I sat beside her. Listen, I don't like the idea of this contest myself, but we can't let everyone down. I surely didn't sound like myself there. A couple days ago, I wouldn't even think about saying something like that. Xenia looked at me with surprise on her face. So everyone is waiting for me? Isn't that exactly what I said? Yes. I won't go anyways. She frowned and hid her face. But why? I gestured with my arms, wondering. I don't know how to play cards. So what? Same problem here. Then how can you play? What? You can only do things that you've read about in books or something? Of course. She was surprised. And what if you end up in Antarctica and you have to rely on hunting polar bears to survive? Polar bears don't live in Antarctica. Xenia smiled. Doesn't matter, it's just an example. Come on, it's not like someone's life depends on the result. She took her time to think. I just don't want to let anyone down. Right. I agreed sarcastically. And don't you think anything funny about that? I didn't get what she meant, but anyway. Obviously, everyone has their weak spots. In a minute, we were both back at the canteen. How long have I been going on for? I gotta check. Been going on for 48 minutes, so I suppose that is where we will end this off today.